Before history had names, before kingdoms rose and fell, there was the coconut, a mysterious hardy fruit. A traveler, a survivor. Its story is not one of a single place, but of the entire Earth's edge of tropical islands, ancient trade routes, seafaring empires, and the people who grew up beneath its towering palms. Today, we unwrap the thousand-year tale of one of the world's oldest and most fascinating fruits, the coconut. Coconuts are unlike any fruit in the world, botanically. They are drupes, not true nuts, with a tough, fibrous husk that allows them to float for hundreds, even thousands of miles, and float they did, long before human eyes ever watched them drift. Coconuts were crossing oceans. The earliest coconuts may have originated around the coasts of the Indian Ocean or Southeast Asia, though there's still debate among botanists. There are two distinct genetic lineages of coconut: the Indo-Atlantic group, centered around the Indian Ocean, and the Pacific group, based around Southeast Asia and the Western Pacific. Nature didn't need our help. These fruits grew on beaches, dropped into the surf, floated away, and planted themselves anew on distant shores. This natural seafaring ability made them one of Earth's greatest survivors, but once humans entered the story, the coconut journey took a dramatic turn. As far back as 3000 to 2000 BC, humans were cultivating coconuts, especially in coastal India, Malaysia, the Philippines, and Indonesia. Evidence of coconut cultivation shows up in the ancient Tamil poems of South India. Sanskrit texts from over 2,000 years ago mention the Enricela coconut in religious and daily life. In the Philippines, the coconut was called the tree of life, a name still used today. Island cultures treated it not just as food, but as a godsend. Its water was clean and drinkable, its flesh rich in calories, its shell a vessel, its husk rope, its leaves shelter, its trunk lumber. The coconut was a toolbox, a lifeline, a symbol of fertility, and often the centerpiece of myth. In Polynesian creation stories, coconuts sprang from the union of the sky and the sea, a marriage of elements. In India, they were sacred offerings, cracked before new ventures. The coconut, it seemed, was meant to be more than food. By 1500 BCE, the Austronesians, expert seafarers, had already begun expanding across the Pacific. They carried coconuts with them, planting them as they went, shaping island ecologies along the way. The coconut came to Micronesia, Hawaii, Easter Island, and Madagascar. It even reached East Africa, possibly by both natural drift and Austronesian trade, and then came the empires. Arab traders carried coconuts across the Indian Ocean. By the time Ibn Battuta, the great Moroccan explorer, wrote of them in the 14th century, coconuts were thriving in Zanzibar, and on the Swahili coast, Portuguese explorers in the 15th and 16th centuries were the first Europeans to encounter the coconut in the Indian Ocean. They gave it the name Coco, meaning grinning face, because of the three marks on its shell. When colonists crossed the Atlantic, they brought coconuts with them. By the 17th century, coconuts were planted in the Caribbean, Brazil, and eventually Florida, often by accident, sometimes by design. The coconut had gone global. As colonialism spread, so did plantation systems. Coconuts became a cash crop, prized for their copra, the dried kernel from which coconut oil is extracted. Coconut oil was used in soap, candles, cooking, and even as a machine lubricant during the Industrial Revolution. By the 1800s, companies like Lever Brothers, which would later become Unilever, were exploiting coconut-producing regions for oil production. The colonial appetite saw coconut plantations rise across Sri Lanka, the Philippines, Indonesia, and the Caribbean. But while the colonial powers profited, native people often suffered. Traditional uses gave way to forced labor and export economies. Still, islanders adapted. Coconut remained central to their lives and ceremonies. in food, and in medicine. No other fruit is so deeply woven into the fabric of island life. In India, coconut is a sacred offering. It's broken in temples to symbolize the breaking of ego. It flavors curries, chutneys, and sweets like coconut barfi and laddu. In Thailand and Vietnam, fresh coconut water cools the hot days. Coconut milk enriches dishes like tom kha gai in green curry. In the Caribbean, coconut flavors rice, drinks, desserts, and rum. The beloved coconut drop candy and guitzada pastries hail from Jamaica. In the Philippines, coconut cream kakang gata is the heart of dishes like laing and ginatang bilo. In Sri Lanka, grated coconut and pal sambal are daily essentials, from sweet to savory, drink to dessert. It nourishes and delights. Even today, coconut plays a role in modern diets as coconut oil, flour, milk, water, and sugar. It's in vegan cuisine, keto meals, gluten-free flours, once a fruit of tradition. It's now a staple of trends. Botanically, Cocos nucifera is the only living species in its genus. It's a palm, but unlike other fruits, it has the unique ability to germinate while still floating at sea. Its outer husk resists salt and sun. Inside, a hollow cavity holds water, and the endosperm, the white flesh, forms over time. There are dwarf and tall coconut types. Talls grow higher and produce later. Dwarfs are faster but shorter lived. Genetic studies show the Pacific and Indo-Atlantic coconuts diverged over 2,500 years ago, supporting the idea of two separate domestication events. Coconut trees can live up to 80 to 100 years. Though their peak production is within the first 30, every part of the tree is used from the fronds to the roots. It's no wonder they're still called the tree of life. Today, over 90 countries grow coconuts. The biggest producers: Indonesia, the Philippines, and India. Coconuts are a $60 billion industry, with products in everything from cosmetics to cooking oil. Coconut water is now bottled and sold worldwide. In gyms, in health food aisles, on yoga mats. But there's a darker side. Some coconut farms still use exploitative labor practices. Environmental degradation from monoculture planting affects biodiversity. As consumers, we're called to care to buy ethically, to know the source. Because behind every bottle of coconut water is a history long, rich, and sometimes painful. The coconut still drifts, still grows where the sea touches the land. It's ancient, but it keeps up with us, evolving, transforming, and always giving, from sacred altars in India to sun-kissed Caribbean beaches, to crowded Southeast Asian markets, to trendy cafes in New York. The coconut is everywhere, not just a fruit, not just a tree, but a global traveler, a cultural bridge, and a living story. Its journey is not over, and neither is ours.